Hey horror fans, once again it's the Horror Miser Money G, and today we're going to continue my Saw series with the final Saw before we take on Jigsaw, Saw 3D, or Saw the Final Chapter, or whatever Saw this was. Now, the final Saw, before Jigsaw, came out in 2010. It was a 3D horror film that was directed by Kevin Gerchert. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. If I'm not, please let me know in the comment section. Written by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan. Once again, it stars Tobin Bell as John Kramer Jigsaw, along with Constance Mandalore and Betsy Russell. We also see Carrie Eels, whatever his name is. He returns in this film. This is the seventh, and this was intended to be the final installment of the Saw franchise, and it was the only film in the franchise to be 3D. The film basically focuses on a dude, which we'll learn later, who faked the fact that he survived a jigsaw trap, and Jigsaw decides to test him with the jigsaw trap. And we also see the battle between Jill Tuck and Detective Mark Hoffman as they battle for the legacy of John Kramer Jigsaw. This installment was planned, but unfortunately, due to the decreasing box office revenue that comes on to the other Saws, this was planned to be the final Saw in the Saw franchise, because they felt as though, say, look, we're not getting the returns that we think. I think it's time we close this franchise out. We'll give the audience one more Saw. Once again, it was released on October 22nd, once again, right around Halloween. It was going to release a week before Halloween, but they decided to release it on the 29th of 2010 in the United States and Canada. It actually opened at number one, making over 22.5 billion in the first week. And of course, we now know that this will be followed by Jigsaw, which came out today. Now, I thought after Saw 6 that Saw 6 should have been the end of it. It went on a very high note, but obviously with the ending that we saw, we knew that they were not going to leave it with Hoffman getting caught in the reverse bear trap and him getting out of it. And there are also some unanswered questions that we saw in the last Saw that needed to be answered. So they left the door open, and they felt as though, hey, look, we're going to give it one more try. And this is what we come up with. Saw 6. So let's go on and let's find out what happened in Saw 3D. Now, we begin with Saw 3D, with these two guys. They wake up and they found out they're in this enclosure, and it's open to the public. The public sees that. They don't know what's going on. The lights come on. They see these two dudes standing beside each other, and next to them is this saw blade. And up at the top, they see this girl that they don't know who they are. And then we find out that their names are Brad and Ryan, and that they've been dating this girl named Dinah. And actually, she's two-timing them. And when the tape comes on, Jigsaw tells them, "Hello, Brad. Hello, Ryan. I want to play a game. The same woman has played each of you for fools, manipulating your love for her and causing nothing but pain. Her fun and games has pushed you both to break the law to fulfill her maternal needs. She is toxic, and today all your crimes will be made public. Now you will choose who will drop out of this game, and within 60 seconds one of you must die. If you wish to save the person you both so desperately love, then the saws must be pushed all the way to the side or the other, sparing her while proving who is indeed the alpha male. Are you both strong enough to walk away from what is destroying you, or will you fight one more time for the heart that binds? You have 60 seconds to decide. Live or die. Make your choice." Now, both men decide to go on ahead and fight for their love, and of course, Dinah tells she's really trying to pull for one way for another. First, she tells Brad that she loves him. Then she tells Ryan that she loves him. Eventually, the dudes decide this, and eventually one of them gets cut with the saw blade. They eventually realize that she's playing both of them for fools, so they decide, you know what, F her, let her die. and that's what happens. Fortunately, she gets lowered on. The 60 seconds expire. She gets lowered onto the saw on top, and she's gutted, and gut spills all over the place. Blood spills all over the enclosure, and she is dead. And that's how Saw 3D begins. Meanwhile, Joe Tuck meets with Matt Gibson. He's an internal affairs detective that works in the same precinct that Detective Mark Hoffman works in. She eventually incriminates Hoffman in exchange for protection immunity for prosecution once she tells him that she was complicit in her husband's activities. Now, of course, if you remember, there is a box that she had, and in that box is also a tape recorder. That she did drop that tape recorder at a hospital that we didn't know. Well, we don't know who got the tape. Got the tape. Gibson, who's distrusted Hoffman since he saved his life by gunning down a homeless man, agrees to her terms. Meanwhile, Hoffman has kidnapped a skidhead gang. Their names are Dan, Evan, Jake, and Kara, and places them in a junkyard trap, which kills them all. It was a very effective trap. One guy, he's super glued to a caddy, and at the back of the caddy, there's one girl's face. And if he doesn't get out, if he really has to lean up forward and really peel his back up in order to get out in time. Otherwise, the way the trap is set up, the tire will smash this other girl's face and kill the other two in the whatchamacallit. And leaving the reverse bear trap at the scene to incriminate Jill, who is later put into protective custody. There now also during this film, we also meet a bunch of Jigsaw survivors, including Dr. Lawrence Gordon. He's still alive. We also get a flashback of Dr. Lawrence Gordon after he left the filthy bathroom. He cauterized the wound in order to stop the bleeding, and he's cauterized his leg, and it's on a steel pipe after escaping the bathroom, and now uses a cane and a prosthetic foot. Next thing you know, we find out that Hoffman has abducted Bobby Gagan. He is a self-help guru who achieved fame and fortune by falsifying the fact that he survived Jigsaw's trap. Guy's made a lot of money. He's been on the talk show host talking about what Jigsaw has done for him. So Hoffman kidnaps him, and he is going to put him through a series of traps. I think he also sends Gibson a video with cryptic clues about the game's location, offering to end the games if Hoffman also sends Gibson some videos with cryptic clues about the game's location, offering to end the games if Jill is given to him, which of course I don't think Gibson is going to do because he wants Hoffman just as much as Jill wants Hoffman to go. But the remainder of the film, we see Bobby going through his series of traps. After he's abducted, he's in some type of a little rat or a little small cage, and Jigsaw will play him a tape and tell him what he has to do in order to survive the test. So when Bobby gets out of the cage, he finds a little micro cassette recorder, and Jigsaw tells him, "Hello, Bobby. I want to play a game. You amass wealth, fame, and notoriety based upon the story of survival. Many have aided you in your cause, but few know the truth. You're a liar. And you and I both know you've never been in a trap, nor have you ever been tested. Today, these lies will come full circle. You will learn if you truly have what it takes to call yourself a survivor. The cage you find yourself in will symbolize your rebirth. Within the next 60 minutes, you must stay upon the path of learning and traverse through a series of obstacles to obtain access to your wife, who you have also deceived. If you fail to reach her before the clock runs out, she will die. Live or die, Bobby. Make your choice." Now, the book Bobby published is called Survive, My Story of Overcoming Jigsaw, which he tells the readers he's supposed to survive the deadly trap by Jigsaw, and his life developed afterwards. Of course, he's never been tested by Jigsaw, and the whole story is nothing but a lie. Jigsaw comes up with a very ingenious way of testing Bobby. He has kidnapped, I believe, his publisher, his lawyer, and his best friend, and he's basing his trap on the three wise monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. One trap woman, if he doesn't rescue the woman, she's going to get her throat cut. Well, actually, he's going to get these pipes stuck into her windpipes, and she can't talk. Another trap is a woman where if he doesn't see her, his stakes are going to go through her eyes. And another guy, if he doesn't rescue him, he's blinded, so he can't see. But if he doesn't save him, he's going to hang himself to death. And of course, if he can't get through all the traps within 60 minutes, his wife will die. So Bobby has to go through these series of traps in order to save his wife. So that's basically the bulk of what Saw 3D is. The first test is his publicist, Nina, and he plays the microsecond order, and this is what Jigsaw tells him. Hello, Bobby. Before you is your trusted colleague. She's been your publicist for years, knowing your lies, but choosing to speak no evil. She's been richly rewarded for her words, but today she'll be rewarded for her silence. In the x-rays you will see a key. The key is in Nina's survival, which will shut off her device. But here's the catch. You have 1 minute to fish the hook from her stomach and to unlock the device, or the 4 spikes will penetrate her throat, silencing Nina forever. Remember, the spikes will also have an advanced time each time the deficit level in this room rises above the whisper, killing her even sooner. Will Nina live or die, Bobby? The choice is yours. Very clever trap here for Jigsaw has created. Not only does he have to actually fish the hook out of Nina's stomach, but he also can't talk. And if the decibel level raise up any higher than the whisper, it's going to make the trap even go faster. Bobby tries valiantly to fish the key out of her throat, but unfortunately Nina screams too loudly, and unfortunately by the time he's running out of time, he can't get the key fastened up, so the spikes kill Nina, and they slash her throat, and Nina is dead. Bobby's second test is his lawyer, Suzanne. He does the microsecond order, and this is what he tells Bobby. Hello, Bobby. The feeling running through your body is fear. The fear of not knowing what you have. What it takes to survive. Before you is your lawyer, who swore a code of ethics, but chose to see no evil in order to benefit herself. Once her device begins to rotate, it will pierce her eyes and mouth if you don't delay its movement for at least 30 seconds. To do this, you must step into the other machine and lift the bars to its highest position long enough to close the circuit, slowing down her device. If you do nothing, she will wind to her death before the clock runs out. Do you have what it takes to help her make your choice? So this is another very clever trap. Basically, the trap she's in will rotate and will eventually push her to these 3 spikes that will pierce her eyes and pierce her mouth, killing her. What he has to do, he actually has to go to the other device and lift that up and keep it up highest point to stop the circuits, and he has to hold it for 30 seconds. Unfortunately, at the same time, while he's holding the device, he's also getting stabbed in his knees. And unfortunately, it's oh boy, try as he might, I can't say that word, don't know why. Try as he might, unfortunately, he cannot hold the device as long as he can, and unfortunately, Suzanne is dead. She gets pierced in the eye, the throat, and now 2 are dead. Looks like things are not going well for Bobby. So now Bobby gets to his third test, his friend Kale, and this is what Jigsaw tells him. Hello, Bobby. Across from you is your closest friend. He knows all your sins, but yet he acts as though he hears no evil. Today, what he hears will be the difference between life and death. Bobby, you must help Kale walk through the planks and get as close to you as possible. Find your own way across the beams to the key. You must give it to him, or the last span between you. If the noose around his neck is not removed within 60 seconds, the winch will be engaged and your secret will be left hanging. Does Kel live or die, Bobby? The choice is yours. Now, this is a very ingenious trap because, unfortunately, he decides he won't hear any evil, so he has to hear Kale's voice, and he's in this very open space, and there's nothing but planks, and Bobby has to yell to him because he's blindfolded. He's got this blindfold so he can't see, so Bobby has to tell him where he needs to go so that he can throw him the key. And he almost makes it, too. I actually thought Bobby was going to survive. He gets to the point close enough where Bobby can throw Kale the key, but unfortunately he doesn't catch the key. He gets, and unfortunately the winch activates, and he is hanged, and Kale is dead. So all three of the people are dead. But can Bobby still make it in time to save his wife? We'll find out. So now we get to the fourth test. This is a very, very gruesome way to make this fourth test, and this is what Jigsaw tells him. Bobby, before you is the door that leads to your wife. However, you must first make a choice. If you might have guessed, your decision will be as difficult as pulling teeth. The lock before you requires a 4-digit combination to open. However, it is access you seek, then true sacrifice must be made. Watch and learn, Bobby. The necessary numbers have been etched into 2 of your teeth. Look at the chart as a reference to which teeth to pull and which order to enter the digits. The time is ticking down. You must take your choice quickly. And basically, what he has to do, he has to take a look at the X-ray to find out which teeth have etched the numbers. And so he has no choice but to grab this wrench and pull the teeth out of his mouth, which is very painful, by the way, in order to get the combination numbers to get to the final room where his wife is located at. And the last test is brutal for Bobby. So he's in the last part of the test, and the final micro cassette is played, and this is what Jigsaw tells him. Hello, Bobby. You must almost completed your rebirth. However, your final test will be your most difficult. The one before you symbolizes your success. She is your trophy, and she sees the good in your message, despite the dishonest beginnings. Today, we will see if you can truly earn her love. To prove your status as a survivor, you must overcome a game that should be all too familiar. You supposedly survived it once already, so it should be easy to survive it again. Pierce the hooks through your chest, muscles, and the game will begin. In order to free yourself and your wife, you must hoist yourself with these chains and connect the extension cords above you before the clock expires. Both hands will be needed to complete this task, but that should be simple, for, as you claim to understand, your pectoral muscles can easily support your weight. So I ask you, Bobby, when you embrace every day as your last, will it be with your wife? Make your choice. So Bobby falsified the fact that he had to survive the jigsaw by taking these 2 chains and put them into his pectoral muscles and climbed up this using his arm strength and climbed up up I don't know 30, 40 feet maybe, and connecting these 2 whatchamacallits in order to survive his test, believing that his weight can be able to withhold, that his weight will be able to keep him up that high enough, that long, without him falling, and extend and get the circuit breakers, the 2 cords, in order to put them together and free his wife. And he makes a very valiant attempt. I mean, he actually puts the meat hooks between his pectoral muscles, and he climbs and he climbs. His wife is screaming and hollering, and he almost makes it, but unfortunately, he doesn't. Unfortunately, he does. Unfortunately, we find out that unfortunately his weight, the chains can't support his weight. The whatchamacallit breaks. He falls down, and his wife is placed into some type of I think it's called a steam oven. I forget what it's called. Some type of yeah. Like unfortunately, like I said, he almost reached the 2 cords to complete the circuit and free her, but unfortunately, he couldn't support his weight. He fell several feet down. He was forced to watch his wife as he fell into a brazen bull encapsulator, and she's burned to a crisp. Very, very bad. Oh boy, it was very terrible. So basically, that's basically it for Bobby. We really don't know if he survived or not. Obviously, he did, but we don't know anything more of his story. But those were basically all the three traps that he had to endure, and I mean, unfortunately, they all died because that's what happens when you play around with Jigsaw. So so much for that particular story. But we are not done yet. We still have Hoffman in jail to go after. Let's not forget about Lance Wharton too. Gibson eventually finds out where the game is located at, and they send a squad room and they bust in, and but unfortunately they're sealed in another room and they're killed by toxic gas. Fortunately, two officers infiltrate Hoffman's command center in the junkyard, where they find Dan's corpse sitting in front of several other monitors, and connected to police. It's connected to police headquarters security. You see, we find out that Hoffman brought. He sees Hoffman brought into the morgue a body bag and tries to warn Palmer, but unfortunately, a turret gun rises up and kills him along with all the men. Basically, Hoffman kills Dr. Palmer and everyone else in this path to jail, because basically what had happened was Hoffman, there was a body bag that what they thought was Dan, but it actually was Hoffman. He actually put himself in the body bag, which was very clever. He basically gets to jail, and he puts Jill in the reverse bear trap, and unfortunately Jill has no other choice but to suffer the fate that was supposed to be for Hoffman, and the bear trap is sprung and her mouth is ripped open to shreds. Very graphic, very, very graphic. Tearing her face apart and see bleeding profusely. Whew, boy, it's very terrible. Feel sorry for Jill. So after destroying his workshop, Hoffman's trying to get out of the town because everyone knows his secret is up. It's time for him to leave, but unfortunately, by the time he leaves his workshop, he's subdued by three people in pig masks. Uh-oh, what is this? Once he awakes, we find out it's Gordon, Lawrence Gordon. What's he doing with a pig fat face? Well, flashbacks reveal that Jigsaw, John Craper, actually saw Gordon after he cauterized his wound, and he actually nursed himself back to health, and he became Jigsaw's actual true apprentice. We see that Gordon was the one that actually picked all the people, especially in Saw 3. He actually picked, I think her name was the doctor. I can't remember her name. It'll come to me later. He actually picked a doctor, and the videotape that Jill brought to the hospital was for Dr. Lance Gordon, telling him that the videotape tells Dr. Lance Gordon that was anything would happen to he was supposed to protect Jill and make sure if anything happened to her, make sure that take action if anything happened to her. So of course, since she's dead, that's what Dr. Lance Gordon did. So they bring Hoffman right back to that same bathroom that was way back in the first Saw, and they yank him, they attach him, take his ankle, attach it to the whatchamacallit, and he throws him a hacksaw, and basically he just locks him in there, and he gives the great line, game over, and shuts him up, and leaves Hoffman there to die, and that's the end of Saw 3D. Now, Saw 3D myself was okay. The traps were okay. It had some nice gore in it. It's particularly what you would expect out of Saw. Some of the 3D effects, I guess, were okay. I actually thought that the skinhead gang was not necessary. It was just an excuse just to put them in there, and it really didn't do anything. There was no need to put that scene in there. But I guess they just needed something to further plot between Hoffman and Jill. But I really don't think I needed it. They didn't need that in there. But like I said, it was okay film. It was nothing, and it was okay. Really nothing home to write about. I don't think it was better than Saw 2 or Saw, for that matter. I don't even think this was better than Saw 6. So if I were to rank it, it'll probably be in the middle of the road for me. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't really that good neither. Now, of course, I didn't see. And Carrie, unfortunately, should have actually not have mentioned the fact that Carrie Lewis is in this picture. But I guess he did a pretty good job, because when they had the self-help group, you see several people that have survived Jigsaw Trap. So I guess they wanted to make sure that, hey, look, he's in a self-help group, so what you expect for him to not be in that group. But I thought as though they would have been better not to have mentioned the fact that he was in the film. Might have made the ending a little bit more surprising. But that's basically it for Saw 3D. Like I said, it was okay. Wasn't good, wasn't bad, but wasn't good neither. I like it better than 3, but I don't like it better than 6, 2, or 1. So, my horror fans, what do you think about Saw 3D? Did you like it? Did you like the 3D effects? Or did you think it was a waste of time and they shouldn't have never did it in 3D? Or should you think they should have ended it with 6? Make your comments in your comment section below and let me know what you thought about Saw 3D. Well, that's it for all the Saw movies. We only have one more left, and that's Jigsaw that came out today. I'm hearing a lot of people having some mixed reactions. Some people love it, some people don't. I will wait until after I see it before I make my determination about what Jigsaw is, and whether or not it was good or did they should have just ended it with this film. Like I said, after I see Jigsaw, I will go ahead and rank the Saw franchises, and that will be the complete ending of the. I will complete my Saw series. So, hope you guys really enjoyed it. Make your comment section below if you want me to do another series, whether it's the Chuckies or Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, and any type of other series you want me to do. Make your comments below. Well, that's my video for today. I hope you do like this. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Once again, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that bell. That way you can become part of the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Once again, all my social media links will be down in the description below. Once again, I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. Oh, almost forgot. My dear good friends from Horror Addicts, Gory B and Danny Nightmare. They're close to, I think, hitting 5K, 5,000 subscribers. I know most of you people who have subscribed to my channel come from them. If you haven't subscribed to them, please give them a look. Give them subscribe. We'll put a link in the description below for their channel. They're very good friends. They supported me and I support them. I actually had a great time last night with Gory B. I forgot the name of that Synoptop. Was on the panel with them last night watching Night of the Living Dead, and had a great time with them. So please, if you're not a subscriber to the Horror Addicts, please go ahead. I'll put a link in the description below and subscribe to them because they're very, very good, and I really enjoy collaborating with them. So hopefully you give them a like. Now, once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember, horror rules.